Hey guys, Filthy Robot here, back with the Arumba for a continuation of our Civilization 5 tutoring game out of Sweden. So let's dive right back into it.
Okay, how you doing?
Doing well, man. Let's take a look at Sweden. Yeah, okay.
Every time I see a
we-
worker, there's such a bait. I just want them all.
I know. You might like some very aggressive games. You play Honor of some aggressive games. You can just steal all the workers you want, but not this game for us. So,
Yeah.
all right. So let's just do child assignments and let's end this turn. So there's a couple options here. Yep. There is the good point that the silk is much more valuable, probably in all likelihood, than the stone. And honestly, I want to grow in this city. Like I'm going to prioritize growth more heavily than production here, because unlike Civilization 6, which actually is very difficult to grow very tall because you just run out of total amenities for a city, we're not going to have that problem with Civ 5, especially Civ 5 tradition. We want this city to get as fat as possible.
Okay. So are you willing to knock off the iron then? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, the unlocked iron, I'm thinking. So, yeah, and I could go one of two ways here. I could either work the silk there, so we're working silk plus the other one, or I could work the sheep there. It's a little... I shudder a little bit at that silk tile. It's one of the worst luxury tiles. So silk, in the mod currently, they just buffed all the luxuries, and they did buff silk as well, but the buff to silk was not as good. And basically, here's the problem with that tile. That tile is a stagnant tile. It provides no more food than it costs. So all that I really get out of that tile is 3 gold and 1 culture. And I don't really want to work a tile that's giving me 3 gold and 1 culture, particularly in the early game, because hammers are just too important. So,
okay, so
I'm tempted to work sheep over silk here, but I could if you really wanted to work silk, I could. Yeah.
So for you, mentally, you think 1 hammer is worth 3 gold and 1 culture. I in my head at least, and I'm not arguing with you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just surprised. In my head. In my head, I kind of think culture is about equivalent to production because it's rare, and culture seems
Culture's
strong.
really good.
So I'm just surprised that you find 1 hammer is less than 1 culture, let alone 1 culture and 3 gold.
Well, we have decent culture right now, and the sooner we finish tradition, the sooner we get the aqueducts, the free aqueducts for growth. So there is a argument right there for we want to max culture at the beginning. But for me, it's like, what the capital in particular is just such an essential portion of your production for the game, because our every time we drop an expand, this expands are playing catch up. They're going to be playing. They need the same infrastructure the capital has. They have to get there eventually, but the capital's got to cover all the weight of the early game everything to begin with. So my preference is just that, and it's going to be personal preference. Maybe we could argue, we could figure that out. You know, if we were feeling really greedy, we might even unwork the iron and work the silk right here, because that's the maximum growth we could work in our city.
Unlock the iron and pick up the silk. Because yeah, I'm looking at this though. Look, we're 5 turns from growth right now.
Doesn't matter.
That takes us down to 4.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we can. But yes. We could also do that closer to the end. I think actually we were talking about this in one of the other episodes. Now it's coming back to me a little bit. Let's not spend forever on this, because we'll be here. We could literally
be here forever.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
But here's just one last thought. I can't let this go, because you're actually leaving a 4 hammer tile and saying you'd prefer to work a 1-2. That is amazing to me. That a 1-2 is better than 4, because that's more pips, and you really value growth. It's very interesting. Okay,
is a tradition capital? Absolutely.
And then one other thing here. Okay, well, how would you qualify that then if you were doing a different? If you were any other thing, if you were piety, would you not prioritize growth nearly as much?
Liberty is the one that you prioritize it a little bit less in. And it's just that you're going to be having, especially in non-expands, the growth is less important, because the production from a lot of Liberty comes from the social policies as opposed to necessarily the tiles. You get that +1 production there, and then the finisher in Liberty. If you mouse over the top of Liberty, there you go. That works too. The production towards, So a lot of your production from a city is not actually tile based in Liberty, which is why you can spam so many mediocre cities as opposed to having to select very very good locations.
Okay.
So I want to work food.
Don't really like this. I kind of like this.
Yeah. We just grew there this turn, and the borders just expanded there, so we didn't have the option before this.
Okay.
So,
right. That explains why that happened then. Okay. And then other than that, just a plain old two food tile seems kind of crap, but okay.
Yeah. This is an unfortunate setup right now, but we need the city to grow, and it doesn't have much plus growth. So one way to look at this, I think you might have changed it to F3 where's the economic?
You're right. Yeah, you have a good memory.
Just remember that one, so I was paying attention.
I didn't change it. This is the best part about this mod. I didn't change anything. All I did is install it, uses defaults. The guy who made it, he's like me, except for Civ 5. Everything he thought of is just right. He just did it perfectly.
That's good, man.
He used F1 through F5, 1 through 6. He used QWERTY, ASD, ZXCV. Like, it's a perfect grid-based system. It's awesome.
That's awesome. So if you sort, go to there, sort by food. So just click on the food. Yeah. That's just one way we can do this by hammers and food. But see these numbers? These numbers are very, very low. It's early game, so it's not such a big deal. But +4 and +3 food means very, very low, very, very slow growth times. We want these cities perpetually growing because we're tradition and we have the happiness to do it. We're going to have the happiness to do it. We need to do that. So
okay.
Anyway,
so
let's try to get through a couple turns.
This is excess food, though, right? That's not the actual total food.
Yes, that's excess food. Yep.
All right. Cool. These guys appear to be moving. Those are what, warriors? Hey,
those are the Shoshone replacement for scouts, actually. So they are as powerful as a warrior. Meant Buenos Aires, nice.
Speak of the devil, we did meet a guy here.
Yeah.
So,
use their roads.
Oh, oops. Okay, use their roads. So moving onto the road would have saved us what?
Yeah, it would have saved us. So we moved on to the road would have cost us a full movement, but then moving to this next road would have only cost us a half movement, so we would have got 1 tile further.
So my fault for moving too quick and then also not realizing.
Yeah, so roads are different in Civ 5 and Civ 6. In Civ 6, you always get access to roads no matter who owns the road, no matter what borders it's in. In Civ 5, you only get access to another player's roads if you have open borders or if you're using a missionary or prophet. If you just moved them, if we were at war with them and we moved a military unit in that way, the roads still would give us no movement bonus. Roads also change in Civ 5. They start off with 2 movement. They start off doubling your movement, where a road is going to cost you half an action as opposed to a full action. And a road on rough terrain in Civ 5 automatically removes that rough terrain cost, so it's going to just be base movement cost for everything that has a road. Machinery, you'll get 3 movement, and then later on you'll get 5 movement with railroads. So,
wow, seems like a ton.
Yes, it is a lot. Okay, so we're doing pretty good.
This worker has no task, so
I like farms around here.
Okay,
the most efficient farm is actually right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can start at this turn.
All the space as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go there and then check it out. So CZ, and we're done.
Nice. Very nice.
I like it. So, okay, we're working on that
religion's
6th
coming
worker.
down. Looks like.
Mm-hmm. Might as well take the hill. No reason not to.
Sure.
Got writing. We met Buenos Aires. Public declaration from the Shoshone. They're protecting Buenos Aires. That's not going to matter because we're not attacking city-states anymore. Yeah. Religions and reformations. Do we even care about any of this stuff, really?
We don't really. It's nice to know who founded it. And if we're going to, we're not pushing for a religion. We made the decision ages ago that our pantheon was going to be something useful early, and we're just going to accept whatever we get religion-wise. So.
Okay, so we don't really care to see what Catholicism actually is. Can we even see specifically?
Yeah, we can. If you go to World Religions.
That's where we're at.
Yep. Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, this is a religion overview, world religions.
And go to beliefs.
There you go.
And then click on religion on the right, and we'll sort it by the belief. There you go. And then that's the Shoshones, and that is, or actually I don't remember which was which now, but one is the Shoshones, one's Portugal's. So Portugal's Catholicism. Yeah. Okay,
so we're probably going to end up getting these things then. Should we tailor our play to this at all, or just kind of ignore it?
They changed the religion system. This looks like that's the Reformation belief, houses of worship, which is three faith buildings. Faith buildings are okay. A monument of the gods is not going to help us at all. Papal primacy doesn't help us. Initiation rites can't help us.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
you have it all memorized. Gotcha.
Yeah, so looking through this, their religion is going to give us production towards early game wonders, which we won't be building because it's deity and we're not going to get any. It's going to give them gold, but not us gold, and it's going to give us 3 religious buildings. We can consider in the mid game, considering if we want to invest in faith generation to get those buildings. But in the early game, that's a very useless religion for us, and all it's going to do is push out our pantheon and be very negative for us as a whole.
Now, Civ 6 is different than Civ 5. I think in Civ 6 you keep your pantheon thing no matter what. But in this one, let's say that this guy, Protestant. So the Shoshone, they bring Protestant to us. We lose our Reformation,
we lose our pantheon.
Rite of Spring, which is really, really good for us.
Yeah. So this is why it's unfortunate when an AI right next to us founds a religion, because the pressure will very, very rapidly push out our pantheon. So.
Right, and we spent a lot of time talking about pressure in Civ 6, but we probably won't talk about it right now. So is there any way, let's say we really wanted that religion, is there anything we can do to the AI to encourage them to bring it to us, or is that?
No. The diplomacy system in Civ 5 for dealing with religion is particularly pathetic. Basically how it's going to work is this. We're going to get passive pressure based on that. Depending on the AI's priorities, it will spam missionaries, and then the missionaries may wander around in our territory. If we give them open border, the missionaries don't lose strength each turn. Otherwise, they'll lose strength every turn they end in our territory until they eventually actually die from doing that. And we can do things like physically surround our cities with units so they cannot put a missionary or a prophet next to it, and then and if we can then selectively unsurround our cities to allow them to convert. So there are ways you can manipulate that, but it's not like an advanced diplomacy system where you're like, hey, could you spread religion? He's like, yes, but it will cost you 2 gold. No.
Okay.
Nothing like that.
And you also, I'm kind of getting the impression from the way you're talking about it that all of that is completely unnecessary to beat Deity.
I mean, you want to take advantage of religions that are spread to you, but there just isn't a lot to take advantage of there. So that apparently, I'm not entirely sure how this works. So where exactly? Anyways.
Take a drink.
Here. Yeah, right. We did that the last time we were recording. So the amount of food you get is based on era. So the thing is, we're not yet to classical, right? Or are we in classical? Can't remember. Do we have classical? No. So unfortunately, we're going to send this like 5 turns. I think it will go up +1 food when we hit classical, I believe. So unfortunately, and I don't think it updates dynamically. So unfortunately, we're going to lose some food. Yeah, we could do that. There's science and gold there.
No,
that is interesting.
If we were to send to, say, Porto, not that I think that's a good idea, but just if we were to, would the AI be less interested in attacking us because of the trade route?
It does value it to some degree, but it's not enough that it's going to... It impacts the whatever algorithm it uses to make the decision, and some of it, what it does is it bases the value of the trade routes it has with you.
Right.
But our trade route gets destroyed if they go to war with us.
So we just lose the production cost or the gold cost of buying that caravan. So
and although it's tempting, even it's always tempting to send external trade routes. So internal versus external. External being, I guess they're called international in Civ 6, right? It's always tempting to do that in the science. I mean, especially if you look at it, you can sort that, by the way, at the top by where it says civilization name. You can sort by science or highest gold. Both of those are worth thinking about. So we could get 5 science a turn and 3 gold off Porto. And actually, if we saw their capital, it'd probably even be more. The gold is based on resource differences and city situations, city settling positions. So on a river gives more gold for a trade route. Max resource diversity between the 2 cities gives more gold. So the number of luxuries, the number of bonus resources a city has also impacts the amount of gold in there. The science is, I think it's 1 science for every 2 technologies they have that we don't. So Porto, you can see that I believe they have 10 techs that we do not know. And that's how they...
kind of scary.
Yep. And if you look at that, that's actually a 25% increase in our total science for the Empire, which is a hell of a lot. However, I still recommend food.
That's what's so amazing to me about it, is that I get it. Again, every time I say this, I always feel like I'm like saying, no, that doesn't make sense, you're wrong. But that's not at all what I mean. It's just that if I were playing by myself, if you weren't here to coach me, I would totally look at all these numbers and say, well, that's a lot of numbers. Those look good. Let's do one of those. Versus just 3 food, which is what I see when I see 3 food. It seems so weak, but apparently I gotta get calibrated here. So we're gonna do this one, even though
we're gonna do this one.
Ooh, okay. 3 food. Good lord. Okay.
Yep.
Just out of curiosity, how close are we? 12.6 for the next turn. So
you can actually see this from the other screen, by the way. I have confirmed this since we played last.
Which other screen?
You can see that right there. You can see right there to what we need to do this.
Yes, but I have a tendency to like go into city management mode when I like to click on it. But anyway, okay. So we don't care about the religions. We talked about that.
Libraries have finished. Our timing window now is going to be Helsinki. That is our slowest city. We can speed that up a little bit, and we will be speeding that up a little bit. So
you determine that from what, the hammers here, or from what?
I just look at it's the city placement. So if we think about what we're building in our cities, monument starts for free because we're tradition. We get those free monuments, so that's fine. This is the first thing it's building is a granary. There are times where I'll build a library ahead of a granary in a city, generally because the timing on National College would be too slow if I had to wait. But for like a city like this, on this difficulty, on Deity, with this city here, where with the tiles it has, it doesn't have a lot of high growth tiles over there, for example. I really would like to finish this granary before building the library. And 15 turns is currently what the granary is going to take. I'm actually thinking we're going to chop it out and probably it will grow once. In the meantime, it's probably closer to something like 9 or 10 turns before we want to start building libraries.
Okay.
Or, yeah. So anyways.
So any of these quests appeal to you, or is that not even on the radar?
Let's see. So the first one is a tribute quest. We'll never be able to do that. So going top down, tribute quest. And then gold and, well, the one above it is actually the top down, right? So one up. That's tribute quest.
We're skipping that one because you've mentioned before, tributes is basically impossible. They don't care about us. We're not strong enough ever.
Giving them gold, we could. The minimum gold gift you can give is 250, I believe. So we could do that at some point. That's not terrible. We'll consider that. We have to. I have our gold earmarked towards upgrading warriors into swordsmen because that is a particularly efficient use of gold in the early game, is to get a unit that's going to upgrade all the way through, so we can always devote the hammers in our cities to infrastructure. So that's kind of where I have our gold earmarked towards. We probably won't be doing that, especially since, unfortunately, it's not very useful to go from like if we go from 0 to 31, for example, that will give us friendship status for 1 turn. And then the natural decay will bring us down to not friendship anymore, and then all that gold is wasted. So a lot of times I'm not going to want to do that anyways unless I have some more base influence. Can't pledge them. So here's the problem with pledging. In multiplayer, pledge every single city state you find always. There's no downside to doing it. It gives you permanent 5 resting influence, and there's no downside. In Deity AI, you can be forced into a decision where the AI basically says, hey, we see you're pledging this, and they'll actually give you a diplomatic thing, and they make some like demand, and you either lose experience, you either lose influence with the city state, or it's like I think the alternative is you lose you might lose diplomatic status with the AI or something like that.
Yeah, you lose face because you're a weak little man.
Yes, it's one or the other. So like pledging them just sets us up for things that we don't have the desire or resources to deal with. So let's not pledge them.
Right. The only reason I would even consider it at all is because if, like you said, it would take us up to friendly for 1 turn, well, 5 extra resting influence would give us 6 turns. That's 6 times as many turns, which is interesting.
And there are times to do it. Like, if we find that we're going to convert a city state, if we're going to actively go after a city state, there might be times we do that, but not here. It's not worth it.
When it says gold gifts are temporarily more effective, is this already factored in, or is it not including it?
Actually, I'm not entirely... yes, it is. It's already factored in here, I believe.
Okay, let's check with another nation that doesn't care. 250 gold gift is just 20, so it's already factored in. It would be nice if it told you exactly how much in the tooltip. I like tooltips.
Yeah,
so, can't be done. Amazingly, we do have 4 technologies, and next highest is 5. That seems like it will never happen.
It will later, but it probably won't happen now.
Great General can't happen because we're not at war with another nation, another actual civ, so we can't get experience. They requested Tutor or Barb
one, where is it? It's a little far away.
And is maritime, so that's food. That'd be great for our capital.
The hostile, but it's hostile maritime. So what that means is we'll get I think we get 45 influence from the barbarian camp. I'm not entirely sure about that. And then they will, if you look at hostile, it means their rate of decay comes out faster. And if you mouse over, I think it's the other part of the bar.
I think because we're right at 0, it's not showing it, but I know what you're talking about. Instead of it being like 1 per tick, it's like 1.5 or 2?
Yeah, so you decay faster with hostiles, which makes them harder to maintain them as allies, which is unfortunate. So I don't think it's worth investing much in doing that. So, and the other ones have no quests that we can really do. So no, we don't have a lot of city-state options at the moment, which is unfortunate because that's one of the things I really like about Civ 6 is how interactive the city-states are in the early game.
Okay, this is new. So this has happened to us once already in this campaign. You just said no interest, right? Because you don't want to get forced into something. Same basic.
My general rule of thumb with diplomatic relationships with Deity is the only people I really care about their relationship with me are my immediate neighbors, and I want to do whatever I can to boost my relationships with my immediate neighbors, even if it's the cost of my far neighbors, because the immediate neighbors are the ones who are going to be attacking me, and I really don't want them worrying me all game long. It will slow down my game. I'll probably still win, but it'll probably slow down my game and make it annoying. So who is this guy? This is Shoshone. He's way off to the... Actually, I don't remember where he is. He's a little bit to our northwest, right? And he wants to declare war on America, who's way off to our northwest, right?
So closer and farther away. He's closer to us than Washington, so this is favorable.
So I care more about him, yep. So we will get, if we agree to do this, the negative diplomatic stuff is we will get warmonger penalties for declaring war on Washington, and that will be negative bonuses for, at the very least, Persia and Portugal, and possibly even the Shoshone, although I don't know one way or the other on that, even though he's asked us to do that. And it's going to be a war. The war probably won't cost us anything because he's super far away, and we're probably never actually going to have our units meet in combat. So I am tempted here to just say, sorry, we have no interest in this arrangement. Perhaps in a later game, I might do it just for the bonuses for that. But
that's the opposite of what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say we should do it because he's closer to us and we want to make him happy. And now you just said...
Well, the problem is, for me, the deciding factor is that the penalties with 2 other civs near us, which would be Portugal and Persia, outweigh the benefits of a slight boost. I'd rather stay neutral with Shoshone because, we'd be a little bit happy. He'll be a little bit happier with us because we'd agreed to do this. But that's not that great. I don't care if he's happy. I just don't want him not pissed at us, if that makes sense. Okay. So this would be like a neutral kind of gain here at no loss for the other ones is better. So.
Okay, 2 quick questions. We talked about this one briefly. You would never do this one, right?
I don't actually understand how the insulting works. I don't think it does anything, is my understanding.
So you'd say this to players then? How dare you?
Yeah, but over TeamSpeak, not through this menu system.
Okay, fair enough. And then the other question is, there's no way to leave the screen and go inspect the world before coming back to it, right? Well,
interestingly, I see EUI icons over on the right, so you could probably go mouse over and see yeah.
If I click on one of these, what do you think will happen?
Oh look, they covet lands. Do you see that in Portugal?
Uh-oh. Yeah, we know she's going to attack us. She's a lecherous whore. So one last question. So well, hold on. Did you actually answer that? So can we click off this at all, or what would happen if I clicked on this?
You can't. You could then propose this, and I'm not sure if it's exactly the same as them proposing it either way, but I think you have to give it some option. So you could say now. So would you like to declare war on Washington? He might not say. And I'm not sure he'll say yes. I'm not sure it's exactly the same as if you had accepted before. I don't know either way. Again, diplomacy with the AI, not my strong suit.
Should I do it or not?
No.
Don't do it. Okay. And then one last question is, okay.
This is what a man has just told me. When you're playing on your own, you've been wiped out by the AI in the last.
Well, yeah. Right? I mean, there's a number of reasons for it. I mean, this isn't one of them. This is just me trying to understand mechanics. I love breaking apart games like this. This is how I learn. So, okay. Okay. So you're talking about warmongering, which in my head, the games that I've played extensively, thousands of hours, have this modifier, this number called aggressive expansion. Is it effectively the same thing as aggressive expansion, where well, warmongering penalty basically just says, hey, you've done some shit in the past and we don't like you for it, and it applies in an AoE around you, and the closer they are, the higher it is, and does it work the same way?
I think it's so I don't know 100% because again, this is not a mechanic that particularly influences my games. Either beating the AI makes no friggin' difference, or playing as players, of course it makes no difference. My understanding is this, so this is the caveat. I'm not entirely sure because it's not in the field that I care about. But my caveat, with that said, my understanding is this. Certain civs have hidden values that determine how much warmongering bothers them, basically. So warmongering versus some AI leaders is going to piss them off more than it would other AI leaders straight up. It is a persistent penalty, and I believe that penalty changes based on some of the actions you do. Capturing and burning cities is more aggressive than just going to war, for example, but they're modifiers for that. So what that was going to be giving us, I'm not sure about the AoE. I think it's with everyone you have diplomatic relationships with. I'm not sure if it's worse for closer or not, so I can't answer that portion of it. But basically what's going to happen is we're going to get a warmonger tag attached to us based on what we do in that. And I think it might even be dismissed at some point or be able to be reduced at some point, but it's going to stick with us for long enough that it's going to impact all the relationships around us. Okay.
Well, let's talk about this pop up here in the next episode then, because this is the first time I think we've seen a declaration of friendship offer. So we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
See you tomorrow.
See you soon.